We have Cincinnati visiting BYU. The Cougars are 1.5-point home favorites. This game has an over-under of 48.5 points, and it kicks off at 10:15 p.m. Eastern on Friday night on ESPN. Kelly, we got ourselves an elevation game. You have to talk about it when it comes up. Lavelle Edwards Stadium sits at 4,500 feet above sea level. That is the 8th highest in the FBS, but it's all within a few feet of like Utah State, because they're all in the same metro area. So we're talking about 8th, but really it's among the highest there. And this is also over 1,600 miles away from home for the Bearcats. That is their longest Big 12 trip that they can possibly make on the slate, and of course their longest road trip of the season. A lot of last-second money came in last week on Cincinnati against Oklahoma, and it pushed the market from -14 down to -12.5. And while Oklahoma covered, they won 20-6, so if you bet it at the opening line, they pushed. It appears that the market movement wasn't all that unfounded. Cincinnati, I thought, played a lot better than expected in that game. Offense was an issue, though. They only picked up 54% of available yards and scored 6 points on 91 plays ran. That's a 41% success rate. Not great. Their star linebacker on the other side, Deshaun Pace, he was actually sat out last game for disciplinary reasons. He's coming back for this game, so no worry there. But that was a big miss for Cincinnati. And I can't help to think that if they had him in the lineup, maybe that game's even closer than it showed on the final box there. BYU, it's looking like week one, their offensive effort against Sam Houston was kind of an outlier. Maybe, new FBS team hadn't played him before. Pressure, I don't know what it was, but they just didn't play very well. They only won 14-0. But they've scored 38 and 27 against their other two FBS opponents. Aiden Robbins, the running back, he missed last game. There's a report that he may miss a few more weeks. He's been really inefficient, though. 2.9 a carry after rushing for over 1,000 yards last year. And he's sitting behind who appears to be the lead back right now, LJ Martin. Cody Epps, a wide receiver for BYU, is also dealing with an injury. He hasn't really played much at all this year. Guys, BYU's wide receiver room, it was banged up last year too. I need to know what's going on in the strength conditioning program. This is a unit that back-to-back years, I think even the 2021, they're dealing with some stuff too. This is a consistently hurt room. And it has to be BYU because Puka Nacua is up in the NFL just absolutely tearing it up right now, so it's not these guys. The Cougars have their hands full with Dante Corleone and Juwan Briggs up front for Cincinnati. But the interior offensive line for BYU has held up pretty well. They've only allowed 9 pressures from their 2 guards and their center and just 1 sack from that. So a lot of the pressures coming from the tackles, but you have big Dante Corleone right in the middle there. Keaton Slovis, he's going to get a workout. BYU really inefficient on the ground and trying to run into these 2 guys or Cincinnati's front 7 in general. That's going to be an issue, so I expect a pass-heavy approach from BYU.
2 Big 12 newbies that are having better than expected starts to their seasons overall. You can define that a little differently. BYU's ahead of schedule slightly with regard to their win-loss record. Cincinnati has improved their K-Ford rating from the beginning of the year. So I'm changing how I'm defining that, but I think both teams are relatively happy with their starts, but both are 0-1 in conference play and carrying losing streaks into this game. So I have Cincinnati -1. It's a 53% win expectancy. Should be close, should be a good one. And yes, I did say that the Oregon State-Utah game had its own window. I meant it'll be on the big screen, which it may not have been if it was on a Saturday really at any time. So yeah, this game will be on too, and once that one's over, this will make its way on to the main screen. Cincinnati's chance to go bowling has improved from 55% in the preseason to 79% currently. The Bearcats' power ratings improved nearly 3 points, and it's due primarily to the offense being better than expected. They've risen from number 76 to number 62, and the defense has remained top 40 as we expected. BYU's power rating and ranking are both nearly identical to where they were in the preseason. It's the defensive improvement that's been offset by the offensive regression by my numbers, as you kind of touched on there, Brett. The defenses should be the best units on the field, but both of these teams enter their off week after this game. So I expect both teams to really be giving everything they have here and pulling out all the stops, kind of letting it all hang out before they can regroup and enter the stretch run of conference play in the second half of their seasons here. Bottom line, I have Cincinnati -1. It's a 47% chance BYU earns their first Big 12 conference win. As we look at the projected conference standings, listen, it's Texas and Oklahoma right now in the Big 12 and then kind of a big grouping of other teams. These 2 teams right now are not even in that other big grouping. Currently, Cincinnati has a 3% chance to make it to Arlington. That's 7th best in the conference. If they win, it jumps to a 5% chance, but that's 5th best in the conference. So that's why there is a drop-off after Texas, Oklahoma, and then a couple other teams in there. With a loss, it's down to a 1% chance, which would be 8th best. For BYU, win, lose, draw here. It's less than a 1% chance to make it, kind of regardless of what happens. If they lose this game, they actually drop to last in the projected conference standings. With a win, they'd be number 11. So that was never the goal for these two teams to make it or win the Big 12 championship in year one. The goal was to establish yourself as, programs that can contend at the Power 5 level in this new look Big 12. And then you're only the new kids on the block for 1 year, given all the changes that they have coming to the Big 12 conference membership next year. So better than expected starts, looking good to have good seasons still. This would be a big win, though, for either team. That's why you get the spread projected what it is.
Kelly, imagine saying that BYU's defense is the strength of their team in the past 2 years. It's
didn't expect
great
it.
Turnaround.
Didn't expect it. That's right. Yep.
The head coach that they pulled up from Weber State, man, he's turned this ship around. I know we talked about in the preseason, said we both liked the hire, but we weren't sure about how much damage he could really do in 1 year. And it's been great.
Yep.
It's been real good. But hey, I think that is a great preview of this Week 5 weeknight slate. The college football season is pressing. Pretty soon, Kelly, on October 4th, starting October 4th, we will have 49 consecutive days of football on your screen between college and the NFL. So get ready. Cancel your plans or get your plans done out of the way, because we got 49 straight days in which we can say no to many things after work. But hop on over to our Discord server, where you can connect with over 4,000 sports betting fans and get live updates in our college football channel and join a sharp and active community. Guys, we got someone in there doing props that is like absolutely murdering it. I'm tailing his props because he went 4-1 last week. He's making us some nice beer money on the side here.